A strange curse that has afflicted this show since its inception is that the likelihood of huge news happening increases exponentially anytime we decide to take some time off. January 6th was the big one, but for a bit this past week, it looked like it might be topped by some even bigger news going down while we're away.
Yeah.
But in the end, Donald Trump, who did not die, was back on his president shit, looking and sounding the same as always after a couple days missing in action.
And I just want to say how annoying it would have been if Trump died while I was in Florida. Arguably the most annoying place to be if this were to happen.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to leave. The cars would have been stopped on the highway with everyone standing, saluting the direction of Washington, D.C.
I would have walked out, no matter how many days it took.
It's good that it didn't happen. Or, I don't know, maybe you feel differently. But
I just say if it was going to happen, I want to be here. I want to be here in California with my friends.
Yeah.
And everyone who is going to party.
If you're going to be anywhere.
Yeah.
This is the place. But yeah, so not dead. So the story then shifts from, is Donald Trump secretly dead and they're hiding this information from the public, to why did so many people believe with every fiber of their being that this was the case and still aren't entirely convinced that it's not?
Because they want it so damn bad.
Man, that's basically that.
Yeah.
So let's try and recap what was a very odd week for left-of-center social media discourse.
For starters, Trump may be alive, but that doesn't necessarily mean he is well. He eats like shit, and his only physical activity is swinging a golf club. And that's been the case for a long time and is the sort of thing that catches up to you when you're as old as he is. On top of his generally unhealthy lifestyle, a few months ago, they admitted that he's been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, aka CVI, a pretty common old person disease that's incurable but generally responds well to treatment, especially the kind of treatment available to the President of the United States. And meanwhile, over the past few months, Trump has been seen with a big bruise on his hand that he seems pretty embarrassed about. Big swollen ankles, and also the inability to reliably walk straight, which is very noticeable. Anytime someone speeds up footage of him walking places, he meanders around
He's taking the scenic route.
Quite a bit. And with the hand and the legs thing, it definitely seems to be bothering him because he is very vain.
Yeah, he's vain. He wouldn't have that hairstyle and that fucking skin tone if he didn't care about what he looks like and what people think about it. So could this all be related to Trump's CVI diagnosis? Or was it something else?
I think it's a lot of things.
Is the CVI diagnosis even real? Or is that a cover for something more serious? And most damning, where the hell did Donald Trump disappear to for 4 days last week? Following a cabinet meeting last Tuesday, Trump was not seen publicly at all on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And his schedule for the weekend listed no public events scheduled for the president. There were Truth Social posts, sure, but as Gavin Newsom has shown lately, those are not too hard to fake. And just weeks earlier, he went on a bizarre tangent during an interview where he speculated on whether he'd be going to heaven when he died.
Not just that, he sent out campaign fundraising emails about his ability to get into heaven.
Yeah, please write to your local priest.
Yeah. Hey, send the good word up to God for me.
Yeah. I need all the prayers I can get, folks. And yeah, you add all this up and one does start to wonder whether Donald Trump is dying or maybe even already dead. And for a sizable chunk of this country, that's very exciting to think about.
But then on Saturday, Trump went and he played some golf, which is not something you usually do if you are dying or dead. But since so many people were already so invested in it being true, there were immediately theories that somehow the Trump administration had collaborated with Getty Images to re-release some old photos, or that this was actually a Trump body double, which they proved by running the pics through an AI upscaler, which revealed the face of someone who looks very different from Trump.
Oh.
And had lots of saggy skin and bloated parts of it. But that's just how AI upscaling works, and why it is not useful for this sort of thing. To be clear, Trump did kind of look like shit, but he always kind of looks like shit because, again, he is a very old man with very unhealthy habits. It's the fact that we see him every single day that makes it less noticeable. No. If you showed someone Trump right now from like even a year ago, they'd be like, damn, he looks like shit.
If you went back in time and showed a Victorian child a photo of Donald Trump, They would have a brain it.
How would anyone ever live that long?
Yeah.
The theories, though, of when he disappeared the days after Tuesday, and then J.D. Vance did the interview, was very...
It was in his goon cave.
It was the most suspicious because he had just signed all of those like very bad executive orders where it's just like, hey, while he's still kicking, let's get the pen out and have him start signing stuff. And they were handing him a bunch of stuff to sign, and he was happy to do it. And that would have been the perfect time for him to, fall back and take a long nap. Anyways, any doubt about this was cleared up at a press conference Monday, which people speculated would be an announcement that the rumors were true.
I'm dead, folks.
They got me. But it ended up just being an announcement about moving U.S. Space Command to Alabama, during which Trump just seemed like his usual awful self. And that alone is also just ridiculous. It is a punitive measure to the state of Colorado.
Yeah, well, it's a liberal state. We don't want liberal rockets.
He was like, they do the mail-in voting there. We got to get everything out.
Yeah.
Even though it has literally the best possible area for that. It built inside of a mountain. And instead they're going to be like, you know what? Alabama, the king of U.S. infrastructure.
I mean, they do have, there is a lot of like NASA stuff in Alabama. It's not complete. It's not.
Yeah, it's not out of left field.
It's not a total non sequitur, but it is clearly like punitive because Colorado liberal,
that's true.
Alabama good conservative. Now, of course, Trump he still took the opportunity at this press conference where he revealed he was alive to pretend that he somehow was just completely unaware of all of the speculation about whether he was dead.
This is the first I'm hearing about this.
How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do him for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him, and we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports.
Okay, he obviously did know, because right after saying he hadn't seen that, he said that he'd been informed about it. So, yeah, and it probably bothered him. Probably made him really sad.
Which was weird, because you would think that was the most suspicious thing, was that you hadn't heard from Trump. And you hear from this guy every single day.
Yeah, you can't escape from him. And he's like, what? I thought you wanted this. I gave you people what you wanted. A break from me.
For Labor Day, a gift.
And you couldn't even enjoy it. You spent the whole time thinking about me. Rent-free, I'm living. Rent-free in your heads.
I'll tell you what I did. I was on a weird, because the time change. And I woke up to use the bathroom and was like, let's see what's up on the phone here. It was like 3 a.m. in Florida time. And I saw, because everyone's just up tweeting like crazy, or posting like crazy at midnight, and it ruined the night of sleep for me. I'm like, oh my God, is he this speculation looks very believable.
Fell for it again. But yeah, it turns out that reports of the president's demise are greatly exaggerated. I mean, it's entirely possible his health isn't in the best shape. In fact, I'd say it's likely. And if that's the case,
I don't think he'll make it to the end of the term.
If that's the case, I mean, it is definitely the kind of thing that they would try to keep on the down low. I mean, every official report about Trump's health, going back to 2016, has been comically, suspiciously optimistic. So it wouldn't be anything new for them to hide some grave illness.
He's 6'8", 210 pounds, pure muscle.
With a 12-inch dick.
Yeah, it drags on the ground.
I mean, even it came out years later, but when he got sick with COVID, he did almost die.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and at the time, they're like, yeah, it's no big deal.
Well, he, I'm sure, if anything's happening now, made it worse for himself by ignoring orders and doing that bizarre.
Sir, whatever you do, don't go stand.
Don't walk up a staircase.
Don't go on a balcony and just and try to breathe normal.
Mm-hmm.
That was so funny. He's just standing there like, yep,
yeah,
doing great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it is certainly a bit odd that he took nearly a full week off from any public appearance.
He loves Labor Day. What?
Yeah. But he sure as hell ain't dead. And it's pretty interesting that so many libs spent several days fully convinced that he was.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it was just a simple case of wishful thinking. But for others, this definitely veered into liberal QAnon territory much like with the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania a year ago. Baseless conspiratorial thinking is not the sole domain of the right wing. And it's always fascinating when it manifests among liberals.
Yeah. My response online was just, I hope it doesn't happen while I'm here in Florida.
Yeah, I just want to be in a good place.
I want to be at my computer ready to live stream.
Because it's gonna happen. I mean, that's the human experience, the human condition.
Ironically enough, on Sunday morning, I was inside sitting down enjoying some pancakes inside of a Cracker Barrel, and I did look around and I said, if it was gonna happen in this full Cracker Barrel on Sunday morning after church got out, right now would be the funniest possible time for the news to break.
You just be like you're wailing off in the distance.
I assume, based on this theory that I had while I was sitting there, fights are going to break out. Because some people are going to be like, our long national nightmare is over. And then other people are going to be so distraught that they're going to...
I mean, I feel like in Cracker Barrel, you're not going to get too much of that.
Everybody eats at Cracker Barrel. It was a nationwide scandal, Elliot. Uncle Herschel being on that logo meant something to all of us.
I think it would have been a lot funnier if it happened while you were at Walt Disney World.
Because that's when Kobe died. It's a very weird thing.
Yeah, just like it's the happiest place on earth.
Excuse me?
Like, I've never thought about this before, but there were people at Disneyland on 9/11.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was like.
Probably pretty sad.
Yeah.
They were.
And you're like in line for Splash Mountain. You've been waiting for an hour, and it's like, okay, I can mourn this terrorist attack,
or I live my life
after I ride. Right?
Those towers would want me to have the best day possible. No, I probably told the story before, but I was at Disneyland the morning that Kobe died, and it was fucking bizarre. People had run to their cars to get, people had just had Kobe jerseys on in the car, or in their cars, and got them and were wearing them, and it was, people were crying.
Grown men crying.
People were crying everywhere. And I remember when the story went off, no one believed it, and they were rushing around, and then there was all this drama, oh, it's just TMZ, and it's like, oh, well, they're pretty reliable on most things.
Yeah.
And it was just a very weird experience. And then, so yeah, I took my nieces to Disney World on Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and they had a great time. But wouldn't it have been something?
Yeah, it would have been a real trip to remember if the thing that we thought happened.
Now, one aspect of this that we haven't mentioned yet, though, was the incredible timing of a USA Today report about J.D. Vance saying that he is ready to be president if anything happens to Trump. Which, yeah, it's a very suspicious thing to mention right when all of this speculation is happening. But it wasn't an announcement that he made. It was literally just one answer to a series of interview questions. He didn't bring it up. They did. And he basically said, yeah, I'm totally ready to be president, but Trump isn't dying anytime soon. Another interesting aspect of this is that there is some recent precedent for this, and it's something a lot of these same libs were in complete denial of. Joe Biden being in very obvious decline last summer. For an entire month, the White House and much of the Democratic Party insisted that we were all delusional until it became clear that Biden was going to get destroyed in the election, and a bunch of his colleagues and allies went on the record confirming what we'd all seen. Now, it's the best and most relevant answer to the question of whether the White House would cover up something like this.
Yeah, it turns out, yes. They literally just did it a year ago. We can expect a lot more of that going forward, because at least that was at the time we didn't know it was the end of Biden's term, because he still thought he was up for another 4 years, but it was year 4. We're in year 1 right now.
Yeah, as Juniper said earlier this week, isn't it fun having 2 presidents back to back that are literally on death's door?
Yeah, I mean, not just 2 presidents, like half of our nationally elected legislators. It's, every day is a new exciting mystery. So, another big thing, I don't want to put all the blame here on Biden, but another very, very big reason why people would be so quick to suspect that the Trump administration is hiding something that's huge from the public is that they promised to release the Epstein Files, and then they changed their mind and started acting very suspiciously about it as soon as people called them on it, and started pointing out that Trump and Epstein were best buds and neighbors for 20 years. It was a complete 180 and very strange. Mm-hmm. So that's suspicious. Someone who would do that might also cover up their own death. Who knows? I mean, the Trump being dead saga is in some ways a distraction from all that, but it's also an extension of it. We just can't trust like that no more. No trust. Low trust society. This is a sketchy man and a sketchy administration. And you'd think that now that Congress is back from its conveniently timed month-long vacation, well, they'd be getting right to work, releasing those Epstein files that they promised to release. But strangely, it seems that only the Democrat minority is in support of that, with the Republicans all opposed to doing the thing that they previously claimed to want to do.
Now, that's not fair. Not all Republicans, just most of them, and enough to block it from happening, of course. Very convenient.
Yeah.
To his credit, Republican Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky seems really annoyed that pretty much none of his colleagues have his back on this issue. And the few colleagues that do have his back are a rogues gallery. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, who might have strong disagreements with each other over who is the queen bee of this Congress, but they can at least agree that the Epstein files need to be released.
Yeah, that's kind of beautiful. Like, they might think that the other women in this trio are a total bitch and a slut and a whore, but they can agree that, yeah, it's not cool. We got to release these files.
Yeah, it's still not enough Republicans, though. So this week, Massie turned the pressure up with a press conference where several Jeffrey Epstein accusers spoke out. Here's Politico.
Representative Thomas Massie is publicly pleading with his Republican colleagues to break rank with House GOP leaders and join his crusade to force a vote on the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. At a Wednesday press conference outside the Capitol, alongside some of the late convicted sex offenders' accusers, Massie said he needed just 2 more members on his side of the aisle to sign on to the discharge petition that will allow him to bypass leadership and get his bill on the floor. All Democrats are expected to put their names on the petition, meaning a total of 6 Republican signatures is necessary to reach the 218-member threshold. We demand real accountability, said Massie, a Kentucky Republican. I encourage my colleagues. There's over 200 Republicans who have not signed this discharge petition. We only need 2 of them to sign it.
What could they possibly be hiding?
We got Marjorie and Lauren and Nancy.
This is crazy.
We got the 3 craziest bitches in our caucus. Come on, there's got to be 2 more of you.
And I love the argument always, no matter what, is, well, there's probably going to be some Democrats in that bill. Bill Clinton's probably in those files. And every time, every single person, even if they're the most blue wave lib, is like, yeah, okay, if he's in there, then he should be in fucking prison.
Yeah, not a lot of Clinton diehards.
Proven by the fact that every Democrat is willing to sign this.
Yeah, sure. In fact, I bet a lot of them hope Bill Clinton's on there.
Yeah.
So that the Clinton dynasty can finally fucking die.
And his daughter shouldn't run for office either because she's teasing that too.
Chelsea, don't even fucking think about it.
No. It continues. Massie's effort at one point seemed all but guaranteed to succeed, but it's taken a hit amid pressure from the Trump administration to stand down.
Huh, weird.
And as Republican leaders point to the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee's success so far in compelling the release of Epstein-related documents through a separate subpoena. But Massie countered that the Oversight Committee route is essentially allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. He noted that the first batch of materials unloaded Tuesday night included an overwhelming number of redactions and consisted almost exclusively of information that has already been made public. The Oversight Committee also sat on the materials for more than a week before releasing them publicly, allowing staff on both sides of the aisle to comb through documents to ensure that victims' identities were protected and other criminal matters were not compromised. Massie's bill, in contrast, would provide fewer opportunities for the Trump administration and White House allies on Capitol Hill to slow walk the process of making the Epstein files public.
So yeah, basically Massie wants the DOJ to just hand over everything to Congress and provide formal justification for any redactions they make, while Mike Johnson and most Republicans want to let the Trump DOJ take the lead on what is and isn't released, which this week produced a massive, huge trove of Epstein documents, which, upon closer inspection, were overwhelmingly just shit that's already been made public.
Yeah, just like before, and every other time. They just keep releasing a bunch of documents.
Giant stack. Look at all these documents.
Well,
wow.
That'll take them a while to go through. Hope you guys are happy. Great.
So, yeah, Massie's plan seems like the better one in terms of actually disclosing information, but it also has a higher chance of implicating Trump in some way.
He's already implicated, but yes, this would be great.
Yeah, and speaking of which, let's hear from some of the actual Epstein accusers at this press conference.
Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends, their famous or powerful friends, and his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 framed picture of him on his desk with the 2 of them. They were very close.
What do you have to
Go ahead.
former personal attorney survivors are
What-
excuse me.
I am no longer weak. I am no longer powerless. And I'm no longer alone. And with your vote, neither will the next generation be. President Trump, you have so much influence and power in this situation. Please use that influence and power to help us. Because we need it now, and this country needs it now.
They have documents with my name on them that were confiscated from Jeffrey Epstein's house and could help me put the pieces of my own life back together. But I don't have any of it. And I know the same is true for many of these women. Why did he get away with it in 2008? Why was he able to go on in the abuse with hundreds of girls after the Florida investigation? Why didn't they let me testify to help stop him? Our government could have saved so many women, but Jeffrey Epstein was too important and those women didn't matter. Why?
We are the Americans that you promised to protect, and we need your help. Please, President Trump, pass this bill and help us. Make us feel like our voices are finally being heard. And also, I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who are regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
So anyway, Massey has said that there is a major pressure campaign from the White House to stop him from getting enough signatures. And that lines up with the White House's own official statements on the matter, like this one to CNN. Helping Thomas Massey and liberal Democrats with their attention seeking, while the DOJ is fully supporting a more comprehensive file release effort from the Oversight Committee, would be viewed as a very hostile act to the administration.
What? How is it hostile to try to expose the documents
Very hostile,
related to
very unfair.
a notorious sex trafficker who trafficked in underage women?
Very hostile.
So, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see if just 2 more Republicans grow something resembling a spine on this issue. But we've got plenty more to cover today, and before we do, now is the part where we tell you about the products and services who sponsor our show. This episode is sponsored by Raycon.
I got my Raycons right here.
Boom! Remember, back to school shopping as a kid, new notebooks, new shoes, new routines. We might not be in school anymore, but we still love that feeling of starting fresh. This fall, it's back to cool, because Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics are a must-have for getting into a routine and making everything feel smoother and cooler.
Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic are packed with upgrades, active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, so I can pair with 2 devices at once, and a super comfortable ergonomic fit that stays put. And with new colors like Cool Mint.
Woo!
Look at that.
You're never going to lose those.
Nope. These earbuds are an accessory that actually fits your style. They got all sorts of colors. They got Major League Baseball teams on some of these. Plus, they got up to 32 hours of battery life. Quick charge for 90 minutes and just 10, and awareness mode for when I'm out walking the dog or just walking at night in general.
Or just turning on the noise cancellation to drown out the world.
Yeah, I wear these. I wore these on the way over here. These are my go-to.
I was
earbuds.
honking, nothing.
I've punished these. I've sweat all over these so much, and they're still going.
That's right.
So go to buyraycon.com/newsday to get 20% off site-wide today. That's buyraycon.com/newsday to get 20% off site-wide today. buyraycon.com/newsday.
This episode is also sponsored by Huel. If you're like us, the chaos of modern life can often mean forgetting to eat something healthy in the morning. But thankfully, just grabbing a Huel Black Edition has been a total game changer that starts the day off right. Fall is near. School and work are ramping up. Life is busy for all of us. I get it. You get it. Time is tough to come by, especially to get a meal that helps you towards your goals. Fortunately, Huel gets it too. Spelled Huel, their Black Edition powder is a complete meal so you feel full, focused, and ready for your day. At less than $3 per meal, it's packed with 40 grams of plant-based protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals. No added sugar, gluten-free, tastes great with flavors like salted caramel and chocolate, plus it keeps me full for hours. It's the perfect breakfast, lunch, or post-workout. Sometimes I'll have it at night when I'm editing, and it keeps me going. Keeps me not bored.
Have one in bed.
Yeah.
And just when you thought that Huel had everything covered, they dropped the first of its kind Super Greens drink.
Wow.
In a can. Delicious.
That's right.
It's called the Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. Forget powders. Forget pills. This is your Daily Greens. Sparkling, refreshing, and ready whenever you are. No mixing, no mess. Quick and convenient without compromising nutrients. It's sparkling and comes in flavors like blueberry, apple, and peach. This one is peach and hibiscus, and they're all delicious. 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. Only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar. Made by dietitians. It's a total game changer. Together, Huel makes healthy eating simple. Try both of those products today with 15% off your purchase for new customers with our exclusive code TechNewsDay15 at Huel.com/TechNewsDay15. Use our code and fill out the post-checkout survey to help support the show.
There you go. And now it's time to get back to the news, and it looks like after Los Angeles and D.C., Trump's next big, dumb domestic deployment for the National Guard is, no surprise here, Chicago. A city that your average conservative sincerely believes is a war zone, despite the vast majority of the city being as safe as anywhere else and probably relatively more safe.
Fucking lovely city.
A beautiful
I haven't
city.
visited in a while. I need to get back. I love Chicago. It is
A
beautiful.
gem.
It's the gem of the Great Lakes.
Trump's been talking this up for weeks now, and look, the fact that he's been talking about it for weeks and the fact that he didn't immediately deploy the National Guard for something that he considers to be a war zone, is very telling.
Well,
because if it was an actual
because he just told us all that Washington D.C. is the most dangerous city on earth.
Yeah, you can't have
so he's got to let that cool off for a bit.
Yeah. Well, get ready, Chicago, because if Trump has his way, you're going to get new mulch. You're going to get garbage off the streets. You're going to get windows washed and streets scrubbed.
That's right.
That's right. Trump's been talking this up for weeks now, and in this case, he apparently doesn't trust the Illinois National Guard to do the job, and instead wants to send in the Texas National Guard. He is desperately trying to kick off a cold civil war.
Yeah.
Because he's sending in other states' troops into liberal strongholds to take control of their cities.
I mean, he's doing that. I mean, at least with D.C., that was the D.C. National Guard. Those people were all from D.C.
After a couple days, they started sending in National Guard from other Republican states in the area.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, that's not cool.
Hold on, though, because on Wednesday morning, it sounded like Operation Deep Dish was about to commence. But by Wednesday evening, plans had suddenly changed for some reason. Here's USA Today. President Donald Trump suggested he may send National Guard troops next to New Orleans, not Chicago, as he had repeatedly threatened, as he looks to expand his crime crackdown to states where federal intervention is welcome. One day after he declared, "We're going in," about plans for Chicago, Trump on September 3rd said his administration still hadn't decided whether it would deploy troops to the nation's third largest city. I guess it's not actually a fucking war zone that is in desperate need of saving. If you can just go, I don't know, I guess we'll go to New Orleans. They seem to just want to lay down and let us roll in. If anyone had a fucking brain that listened to this guy, he's giving the game away. Yeah. Trump instead pointed to New Orleans, a city in a Republican-led state, in contrast to Democratic-led Illinois.
And also, it should be noted, a city and a state with significantly higher violent crime than Illinois or really anywhere else.
Sure, but they don't need this either.
No, they don't. And it would clearly be, it's Louisiana, it's a conservative state, but New Orleans is not a conservative city. And so it's just more kind of culture war in that way. Even though without New Orleans, Louisiana would be fucked. There would be no reason for anyone to go there.
Also, one of the main and only huge culture areas in the United States.
Yeah, very culturally rich.
Literally original everything comes out of the city of New Orleans, more so than probably any other city in the country outside of maybe New York.
There's a lot of black people there.
And so Trump's got to send them in.
We got to do something, I guess. Continues, we're making a determination now, Trump said in the Oval Office to reporters. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, Trump added. Trump emphasized that he wants Democratic Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker to request help from the Trump administration to combat Chicago's crime. We could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us, Trump said. Pritzker, however, has resisted Trump's threats to send the National Guard to Chicago, accusing the president of not being serious about fighting crime, but rather testing his power. I want to go into Chicago and have this incompetent governor who doesn't want us, Trump said.
Well, it's interesting. It's an interesting turn of events. Pritzker has been, out of everyone so far, the most...
Yeah. There will be consequences. That kind of thing.
I applaud his stance on this. He is digging in his heels, and he is ready to do this fight, more so than even Gavin Newsom or Kathy Hochul.
Yeah.
Like, J.B. Pritzker, he is very serious about this.
Yeah.
Based on everything he said, and he just protected all of the Texas Democrats for like a month while they were trying to stop that.
I think there's also an element here of... Gavin Newsom's stock is very high right now. Mm-hmm. Too high, if you ask me, as an actual resident of this fucking state. Mm-hmm. And that is largely thanks to Trump moving into California and Gavin using that as an opportunity to promote himself and whatnot.
I feel like J.B. Pritzker could do more by not letting them in, but by actually making it so they do not come. Because that's
there's not a lot he can do to stop them from coming. I just think maybe the Trump administration had occurred to them that J.B. Pritzker has a much better chance of actually winning a national presidential election, and they would be handing him a whole lot of praise and acclaim if they went in there and he did exactly what Gavin Newsom did by, standing strong in the face of fascism or whatever.
It's also just like, Chicago is one of those cities. The residents, even if they were politically leaning one way or the other, fucking love their city.
Yeah.
And do not want this to happen to their city.
They don't want a bunch of fucking Texans running around telling them what to
That's
do.
what I'm saying. This would be a very, very bad move for Trump. It's like LA, New York, and honestly, New Orleans, despite having the Republican governor, like, you're going to these cities where people actually love their city. They have pride in it.
Yeah,
they love their neighbors.
Pride.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Now, it does sound like they're leaning towards something easier, since Louisiana does have a Republican governor who's more than happy to come on in, Trump, come on in and invade the liberal city that keeps the entire state's economy afloat.
Please.
And it should be noted that J.B. Pritzker has been very direct about not only being opposed to a National Guard deployment in Chicago, but also seeking justice against anyone who helps Trump do it. Here he is a few weeks back.
To the Trump administration officials who are complicit in this scheme, to the public servants who have forsaken their oath to the Constitution to serve the petty whims of an arrogant little man, to any federal official who would come to Chicago and try to incite my people into violence as a pretext for something darker and more dangerous, we are watching and we are taking names. This country has survived darker periods than the one that we're going through right now. And eventually, the pendulum will swing back, maybe even next year. Donald Trump has already shown himself to have little regard for the many acolytes that he has encouraged to commit crimes on his behalf. You can delay justice for a time, but history shows you cannot prevent it from finding you eventually. If you hurt my people, nothing will stop me. Not time or political circumstance, from making sure that you face justice under our constitutional rule of law.
Now, it's unclear if any of that matters to Trump, but it's definitely interesting that they'd suddenly decide not to do it right at the last minute after hyping it up for weeks, especially when getting permission from the governor wasn't something that they cared about when the National Guard came to LA. In LA, the troops never left federal property, though, so maybe that matters. In any case, Pritzker seems to believe his legal threats played a part.
It's as if he's begging me to call him because he wants me to ask him for National Guard. That is what he is trying to do. There's a second reason, and you should pay close attention to this. He wants to set into the fact pattern that the governor called him to ask for help. Why? Because he's going to end up in court. He's going to end up in court. And that will be a fact that they will use in court, that the governor called to ask for help. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to provide him with evidence to support his desire to have the court rule in his favor. I'm just not going to do that.
They left once. They went to MacArthur Park for that photo shoot, but that's it.
I don't think that was the National Guard, though. I think that was a bunch of like Border Patrol and CBP guys. Okay. It's harder to tell them apart because they like cosplaying as like troops, even though they're not troops. But I don't think that was the National Guard.
Well, either way,
I may be wrong.
Either way, and not that it matters, but they did just rule that deploying the National Guard was illegal here in LA.
Oh,
exactly.
No.
But hey, you know, it's good that it's on the books.
Yeah, I mean, like.
For future historians.
Right, for not just for future historians, for the future Truth and Reconciliation Commission that you would hope would come out of this fucking shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I guess it's New Orleans next. I mean, we've seen all that the National Guard can accomplish when you give them a mop and a trash bag, maybe some mulch.
They should send them there right after Mardi Gras.
So
yeah, a lot to clean up.
It'll be exciting to see what they can do when you put them on vomit patrol down on Bourbon Street.
Hey, careful with those oysters. Woo!
Yeah. And hey, only one hand grenade.
Yeah.
They're easy. They go down easy, but you're gonna pay for that shit.
You know who's gonna make out great? Cafe Du Mans. Selling lots of beignets at 3 a.m.
They are delicious, but don't breathe. Don't breathe with your mouth. You're gonna get powdered sugar in your lungs.
That's probably where they'll sleep because they don't have places for them to stay, so they just kind of sleep on the streets and stuff. So they'll probably just sleep at Cafe Du Mans. It never closes. So
I mean, that is basically the capital of Louisiana.
Sure.
So yeah. But moving on now to yet another egregious abuse of presidential power that happened while we were gone. Apparently, the U.S. military is now just sort of summarily executing people that the Trump administration suspects are trafficking drugs, even though that's not even a capital offense. And they're doing it in international waters.
This is a war crime.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Not good.
And it's very specifically targeted because the president is an enemy of Trump. And they sit on a very big oil reserve.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole Venezuela thing does ultimately come down to they got a fuckload of oil and they're not playing nice with us. Because, like, yeah, I mean, say what you will about Maduro, sounds like he's pretty fucking corrupt, but that's never been a problem for like the hundreds of other countries that are also similarly corrupt.
But yeah, it is very, seems very specifically targeted considering Venezuela isn't typically like a huge, massive drug exporter.
No one fucking knew what Tren de Aragua was until like 9 months ago. This is fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. But here's NPR. Tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela are rising. Days after sending U.S. gunboats to South American waters, President Trump said Tuesday that the U.S. Navy struck a vessel in the southern Caribbean carrying what he described as a Venezuelan drug shipment. Trump told reporters during an Oval Office event that the operation happened over the last few minutes. We literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat. A lot of drugs in that boat.
Moments later, Secretary of State Marco Rubio tweeted confirmation, calling it a lethal strike on a vessel operated by a designated narco-terrorist organization. In a later Truth Social post about the operation, Trump said 11 people were killed, calling them terrorists, claiming they were members of Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang. He included a video in the post labeled unclassified, showing a strike on a small speedboat with 4 outboard motors. And yet we're not going to show you a video of a bunch of people getting killed in a drone strike, but it kind of just looks like some people in a boat. It's hard to even imagine where they would be storing the supposedly huge cache of drugs on board, especially with 11 people taking up most of the space.
It doesn't even have a top.
Yeah, it
looks like a fishing boat.
Yeah, and even if it were the case that they were transporting large amounts of drugs, in a normal scenario, you would want to board that boat and arrest them and then take one of those cool photos with all the drugs that you seized to show everyone.
That's the best part of the job.
You get to pose with the
standing
drugs.
behind the table and there's like a pipe.
And then everyone can see how great of a job you did with all the drugs that you captured.
Taken off the
Instead,
streets.
they literally just incinerated 11 people instantaneously.
They vaporized him and spent like God knows how much fucking money doing so.
And again, like when
in complete opposition to international law, U.S. law.
It really seems like they're just like goading them into like a retaliatory anything.
I mean, I don't think Maduro's dumb enough.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
all there, so like, what's the point here?
But even if they were drug traffickers and not just some random Venezuelans that the U.S. military murdered, is this kind of military operation even legal? Well, here's the Independent.
There is zero evidence of self-defense here. Looks like a massacre of civilians at sea, according to Adam Isaacson, Director for Defense Oversight at research and advocacy group Washington Office on Latin America. Even if they had drugs aboard, that's not a capital offense. Lethal force against civilians in international waters is a war crime if not in self-defense, according to Isaacson. Not yielding to pursuers or suspected of carrying drugs doesn't carry a death sentence. Even if one were to accept the administration's framing of the attack, this action is legally questionable under both U.S. and international law, according to Juan S. Gonzalez, a former National Security Council official under Joe Biden. As it stands, the administration is claiming authority to sink any vessel it deems tied to drug trafficking. That's a slippery slope, he said. Without checks, the U.S. risks killing fishermen, migrants, or other civilians, and we just have to take the administration at its word.
So, yeah, that's troubling, just to put it mildly. But there was also like a statement from one of the Venezuelan officials that were like, "There's two things this week. One of the Venezuelan officials was like, actually, that video is AI." Which, like, I don't really believe. But the other one was, like, Trump claiming that them throwing trash out of the White House was also AI.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. There was, like, a video of big old black trash bags being thrown out of the White House, and they're saying it's AI, and, like, I don't know.
Why?
It's just very low-trust society we live in.
I know. That's, like, two things in one week where it's just like, huh. But moving on to one more troubling bit of news today. The New York City mayoral race is currently pretty weird, with 3 Democratic politicians vying for the job despite only one of them actually winning the Democratic primary. Current Mayor Eric Adams and former Governor Andrew Cuomo are both running as independents. Adams because he's corrupt as hell and stood no chance in the primary, and Cuomo because he's a sore loser who clearly can't take no for an answer.
Well, that's a pattern.
Things could get even weirder soon if things go the way that Trump wants. Which, again, just doing all this out in the open is crazy. But here's the New York Times. Advisors to President Trump have discussed the possibility of giving Mayor Eric Adams of New York City a position in the administration as a way to clear the field in November's mayoral election and damage the chances of Democratic frontrunner Zohran Mamdani, according to 3 people with knowledge of the discussions. The talks have also involved finding a possible place in the administration for the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa.
Hell yes! We're gonna make the Guardian Angels, National Guardian
That's
Angels.
the guy with the beret, right?
Yeah, the guy with the beret. He's like, I mean, he sucks, but he's like a cartoon. And he poses no threat to anyone.
Well, unless you're walking down the street in Times Square and he decides to fucking chokehold you or something.
But like, I don't think he's doing that anymore. That's when he was a younger guy. When he was a younger man, he was
2 years ago or whatever.
Oh, did he?
Well, it was somewhat recently.
He still got it, I guess. He's mostly harmless. By which I mean, he has no shot at any power, and he's just a New York weirdo. Every state's got one of these guys that runs for office every fucking time with no chance of actually winning.
The Trump administration will definitely put him in a position that is front facing where he can go on Fox News every night.
He's great
because
on
he
camera.
looks like a fucking comic villain.
Yeah. He can work a mic really well. I'll give him
Trump
that.
will be like, you need a big scar going down your eye. Can we give him a scar?
Get the scar machine.
But yes, obviously this is to make it so that Zoran has a harder chance against Cuomo.
Yeah.
Like intentionally. And they're showing
so organic and so natural.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Both these guys just got jobs in the Trump administration. Oh, I guess that changes things.
They just ran a great campaign and we didn't want to see their talents wasted.
And it continues. The goal, the people said, do I need to explain this? The goal, the people said, would be to give former Governor Andrew M. Cuomo a better chance of defeating Mr. Mamdani, the Democratic nominee, in November's general election. The discussions within Mr. Trump's orbit about making a potentially audacious intervention date back weeks, and it is unclear if they will ultimately amount to anything. But the topic has taken on added urgency in New York City in recent days as an already chaotic race steams into the last stretch of the campaign season. Overlapping conversations have been playing out among some of the city's biggest real estate executives and among allies of Mr. Cuomo, 67, a moderate Democrat who has known Mr. Trump for more than 40 years. Mr. Cuomo is running as a third-party candidate after badly losing June's Democratic primary to Mr. Mamdani. Those New Yorkers have been frantically searching for any way to halt the rise of Mr. Mamdani, a 33-year-old state assemblyman and Democratic socialist who they fear will sour the city's business climate, and have discussed potentially offering the mayor public or private sector jobs to encourage him to drop out.
So, okay, yeah, this is pretty funny for multiple reasons. Now, for starters, Eric Adams taking a job in the Trump administration wouldn't be at all shocking, but it would fully solidify his status as a corrupt Trump puppet. You know what they should do? Ambassador to Turkey.
He would be so down for that.
Mr. President.
You mean I don't have to fly there? That's the only thing. I love flying on Turkish.
No, he gets to go all the
Going
time.
to Turkey, flying to Turkey is
most fun part.
It's half the fun. If I just live there.
They need to give him an office in the Istanbul airport.
Oh.
I need to be close to where the action is.
Yeah.
But close enough to a plane where I can fly back to D.C. when needed.
Istanbul is the New York City of the Orient.
Yeah.
And it would be like coming home.
Now, Curtis Sliwa is a Republican, so him joining the Trump administration would make sense. But also, repeatedly running for mayor of New York every 4 years is like his main thing.
Yeah.
And it's unclear if he'd even be interested in dropping out, regardless of the fact that he has no chance of winning.
Yeah, running for office and losing is like Curtis Sliwa's, that's his whole deal.
I'm telling you, he's going to get some position where he can go on Fox every night and show up as the tough guy because he looks like a fucking Street Fighter character.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely better on camera than that thumb, Tom Homan.
God, what a fucking loser. Tom Homan, you bitch. As Maria Cavas from The Handbasket, that's like her whole thing on Blue Sky is just repeatedly calling him a bitch.
He is a bitch.
Yeah, he is a bitch, and he looks like a thumb, and he's butt ugly.
He can't
and he
talk.
has a dumb voice. Yeah,
he sounds fucking drunk all the time.
Marble mouth. Why don't you leave the country, bitch? But anyways, this would mainly serve as a big Trump endorsement of Andrew Cuomo, which could very easily hurt his chances more than getting rid of Adams and Sliwa. Then that helps the chances. It's just like you're giving him the Trump endorsement, and New York
it would be
City
very
residents are gonna
obvious
be like,
what is fucking happening here.
Yeah. Oh, God. Donald Trump really wanting Andrew Cuomo to win and pulling a bunch of levers behind the scenes to help make that happen is probably not going to play well with voters in a city that overwhelmingly fucking hates Donald Trump. But who knows? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll be forced to see.
Yeah. I don't think, like, even if they do this, I don't think it works. I think this screws Cuomo even more badly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Donald Trump wants Andrew Cuomo to win.
I kind of want to go to New York City in November just for the vibes, because they're gonna be high. It's gonna be great,
and the weather,
beautiful weather. I guess we'll have to take a trip.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take any weather right now that isn't this fucking weather.
You don't know how lucky you got it after being in Florida for a week.
Yeah, I know.
Whew! It's about just as hot, but you walk out and you can take a bite out of the air.
If I ever get the money, like, I'm getting a summer home in, like, northern fucking Canada. This shit sucks. Or maybe just...
No, Michigan's beautiful Upper Peninsula.
Isn't it fucking hot as shit there, too?
Well, get right on the way.
I don't know. Maybe I'll do Southern Hemisphere. Fucking Argentina or some shit. I'll just, in the summer here, go down there where it's winter. I can't do it. Luckily, the worst is over here, I think.
Yeah. Last year it was like November.
Well, it's cooling off, but yeah, I was at the gym the other day. I quit halfway through it because it's an indoor-outdoor gym, and all my stuff was outdoors, and I was just like, fuck, this sucks. This fucking sucks. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Whew. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. We will be back tomorrow. We are back on schedule, baby. Merch coming soon. I'm back. I go to my computer tonight and start fiddling with it. I even got some samples and they look good. So we're on our way. Sooner rather than later, you will be able to buy some merch, and that's good news. In the meantime, click the like button. You know how hard it is when we take a break on YouTube? YouTube, when you take a break, they say, fuck that. Yeah, get back in the mines and fucking work.
Crushing our algorithms.
And so we're screwed unless you like the video, leave 10 comments, reply to every comment that exists, and then do the survey that pops up where YouTube's like, hey, was this great? Yeah, it taught me something. I laughed. I had a great time. These guys are my friends, and we love all of them.
I
Please
have
suggest us
developed
to
a
more people.
parasocial relationship with this channel.
That's
Boom.
right. So click the buttons, subscribe if you're not, hit the join button if you feel like it. And these videos are old. Don't watch them.
They're old. Watch the Elephant Graveyard, the new Elephant Graveyard.
Was that the Joe Rogan?
Yeah, it's
Rogan
very
Sphere?
good.
Yeah.
Watch that, and then watch the Adam Friedland episode with Richie Torres.
Oh my God. Anyways, yes, check that stuff out instead of us. But like the video so that you come back to us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.